everyone, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Simniya and or simniya here on YouTube, and today I am here to help you avoid same face syndrome in The Sims 4. Step 1 to escaping same face syndrome is to go and look at some different faces. So usually I hop on my nearest search engine, and for me that's usually Pinterest, and I look up some different faces. I look up different races, different ethnicities, different everything, because the reason most people tend to make the same Sims and the same faces is because they're making Sims based off what they find beautiful, the people they see most often, and just what they're familiar with. So you need to get into the unfamiliar. So using Pinterest or Google, I usually look up photography portraits, and I pick a person of my liking or a sim that feels like they fit what I'm looking for in my Let's Play or whatever I'm doing. And whoever speaks to me first is who I make. So here we are back in CAS, and this is the person that was speaking to me this time around. And so personally, when I start making Sims, I am a top-down kind of person. I usually go with general facial features. So this person in particular has like rounder eyes, double eyelid, deeper set eyes, looks kind of, she gives a more, we'll say, dark energy. So I use some of the facial skin details that like make the eye area a bit darker. And then I try to emulate or imitate the general nose shape, lip shape. I went with a gap this time around because the lip preset that I am using allows you to see the Sim's teeth a bit. So I thought it would really work out with the person I was trying to semi-recreate. And then after I kind of get those nailed down, I get into the smaller details, if I want to change the way the lips turn, the jawline, things like that, how far the ears go out, and then I go into my facial details that I have. So I have a nose presets or nose details by Obscurus that I use quite often and almost with all my Sims, and I think it contributes a lot to making them look different. And then I, freckles, moles, under eye bags, and things like the small details of those natures was what I think helps the most to make my Sims stand out and be individual in their own ways. And then also something I think is skipped over or needlessly repeated or inadvertently repeated is the same type of eyebrows. So sometimes I try to switch around the eyebrows that I use, thick, thin, whether that they have a slit in them or anything like that. The colors, some people who dye their eyebrows, who don't. I think those also, you don't really notice how much your eyebrows take up on your face and how much they contribute to the way you look. And if you don't believe me, then shape your eyebrows and then you'll understand. And then following that, I go into hairs. So sometimes I try to emulate the hair that the reference photo has, but other times whatever looks best on the Sim that I made, because honestly speaking, I'm not going to always make my Sims exactly how the picture looks. I used to try. It does not work because you have your bounds and limits in the Sims as to what you can actually do. And so I just try to work with what I got. And then sometimes I try to match my clothing to my makeup, and other times I try to match my makeup to my clothing, whichever one's easier for me at the time. And because this Sim is for my new Let's Play, a lot of them have piercings. So for her in particular, I added ear piercings and darker makeup, and then she also gets tattoos and stuff because it felt right. Once I get through what I'm going to call my base details, being facial features, hair, some of the accessories, tattoos, body type. Sometimes I think for the Sim initially I included that she would have body hair, and I disabled the option for it to grow just because I wanted her to be a Sim that didn't shave her legs as often. But then I think I changed that because for gameplay reasons I wanted to choose to not shave her legs, whatever. Neither here nor there. But sometimes I do that for Sims that just genetically have, like, based on their ethnicity, just grow more body hair than other people do, for them to just have hairier arms or hairier legs or back or stomach or so on and so forth. And I disabled the feature for those areas to grow hair, just because I want it to constantly be there, especially for Sims that I'm not playing myself, because then I can't like go in and choose not to grow their hair if I want. So I think that's a really good detail to add in. And then there's some details that you must, I believe, remain consistent on depending on your sim. So for this sim in particular, she has long nails. And so I always keep her long nails, or try to keep her long nails throughout all of her outfits, and then her piercings in her ears I try to maintain across all her outfits. And for other sims that I make, that may be a wedding ring or nose piercing or a necklace that their grandma gave them. And I think that helps to build character among my sims. And then in terms of clothes and fashion, since we are on that part, sometimes I do get back on Pinterest or on Google and I look up certain aesthetics if I have something in mind. So for my sim Lola, I wanted her to be more punk rock-esque, darker clothing. So I wasn't really familiar with that. And so I got on Pinterest and I looked that up. While for this sim here, I kind of had a general idea of what kind of person I wanted her to be. And I wanted her to dress up more for her formal and her party when she goes out into a more clean look. So she wears lots of designer, Chanel, things like that. And then she's a high sock girl, a bit more, she's cutesy, girly, preppy almost at times. And so that is like, it was easier for me once I kind of came up with in my head how they wanted to look or how they were going to look, whether or not I wanted them to repeat shoes or, they were rich enough to like buy new things and have different outfits all the time. Once I figure that out, I kind of can easily make my way through, sometimes less easy than others. So for this sim in particular, when I get to her party wear, I was struggling because I just didn't have what I was looking for. And usually that's a problem for me in terms of CC, and obviously these things are all possible with base game type of clothing. You just gotta be a bit more creative, but we're about to get to the section where I'm talking about. And while we are here, I'm going to move on to the topic of CC and where to get it, how to find it very briefly, because this is not the video for that. There probably will be a video for CC eventually, but this is not the video for that. But just so you guys can briefly know my kind of process on how I got all of these things without me having to link every single one in the description. Here we are on Ocean Sims CC Finds page. So when I'm looking for custom content, whether it be Maxis or not, I usually hop on the CC Finds page of someone that I know has one, and or I just type into Google CC Finds page, or on Pinterest, same thing. But this time we're on Oceans because I am well acquainted with hers. And so from there, obviously I look for CC that I like, but not only a particular type, like one piece of CC that I like. I look for a style or a type or gathering of CC that I like. And once I find that, I click on the creator's name. That there will lead me either to their Tumblr, and from there I'll go to their downloads page. So a lot of CC creators downloads page linked to a Patreon, and especially with Patreon, once you get there and you click on their username from Patreon, you can usually get to their entire catalog of what they have released. And from there, I just click away, and usually it's a one-click kind of download thing. So here we are looking at Clumsy Aliens CC, and they are all kind of, as you scroll through, if you were to click all of those, would go straight into your downloads folder, which is just my easy way of grabbing CC that I like. Anyways, although I will not be posting the CC that I use in this video for this sim, I would like to mention 3 mods that I think are very helpful when creating sims in Create a Sim. First, the tried and true more columns in cast mod. So as you can see, I have 4 columns, which is 2 more than the regular 2 columns you get when you load up the game. This mod also comes with the option for 3 columns and or 5 columns. I won't harp on it too much because it's a pretty old mod and used very often for people who have a lot of CC. The second mod that I'm going to mention is the tidy cast mod. So using this mod, if you see while I scroll very fast, you'll see the little black headers that denote which part of the body I'm focusing on. So for some of them, it'll say like wrist left. And when it says wrist left, all of the in-game items as well as my CC items that are tied to the left wrist will appear to the right of it. And so, you know, with the in-game items, that usually is like a bracelet or a watch, but sometimes with CC that's like a purse or a camera, so on and so forth. This mod is very useful for facial features and facial like skin details that are tied to multiple sections of the Sim's face. The third mod that I'm going to mention is the No EA Lashes mod. So when you have the regular EA preset, some of them have lashes on them. And if you don't know what the lashes are, because for a long time I didn't know that those were lashes either, on some of the eyes you have that big old black strip across the lid that is supposed to be a lash. Well, this mod takes that strip off, and the great part about that is when you're looking for certain eye shapes, you can find them or use them better without that big old strip in the middle. So with this mod, I don't really only use it to add my own lashes, but also just to give me a wider variety of eye shapes and lids and so on and so forth that I can use. Anyways, that is it for today's video. As I had mentioned, this sim will be featured in my new Let's Play, Young, that will be coming out eventually, hopefully within the week. And for that, I'm in the midst of making 15 new sims. And with those 15 sims, I have to make 15 different faces, personalities, and body types are all equally lovable. But yes, look out for that in the next coming week and weeks. And thank you for watching this video. Also, doesn't the sim look like Kat from Euphoria? Okay, bye.